Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How's everybody getting along? Well, we're almost to the end of the week here. Let's take a look, see if we have anything going on. Of course, the West Coast is going to continue to get pummeled with storm after storm, but my focus is into next week. There is the potential here. What is this? Well, it's showing up on both the GFS and the European model. There is area of two low pressure systems that are going to ride. First one, kind of weakens across the Great Lakes here. And we have this strung out area of low pressure, essentially. So you're going to have this low over here that's going to slowly weakening, and then you're going to have some sort of maybe coastal type thing, if you can call it that. And this might bring some snowfall here to interior parts of the Northeast, maybe potentially coastal New England. We'll have to keep an eye on this because, the trends there is kind of a little bit colder. Temperature profiles are going to be marginal, though, so we're going to have to really keep an eye on this. But this could be right around Monday, Tuesday next week, 27th, 28th. And it kind of sticks around here, for the better part of the 28th there. You can see how it slowly pulls away here. And if we take a look at the upper 500 millibar flow here. All right, so going full screen here, let's back this up. This is that weekend storm. Let's fast forward it here. This is the big piece of energy that's going to be the key. Right out here, you see this big, your eyes are just drawn to this. And this is going to be the big thing that causes all of this havoc and potentially feeds into the energy to give us our Northeast and New England snowstorm here. Now, let's take a look. We head into Sunday night here. We're going to be looking at the potential for nocturnal tornadoes here across the plains. This is going to be some bad weather, especially in the middle of the night heading on into early Monday morning. And look how this heads to the Northeast for Monday. This is 4 p.m. Take a look at this. So, yeah, this is by Tuesday. Look at this. This is where we get the energy coming in, and we could potentially have some snowfall up here into parts of the Northeast. All right, so snowfall here. What is going on here? So this is through the weekend. You see the west is inundated out west here. Parts of the lakes into Maine. That's a given. So let's take a look at our Monday into Tuesday system. This is where things get a little bit interesting. Look at this. Let's zoom in. All right, so it's a bit early here, but let's take a look at what the European model is showing for snowfall totals before I show you the evolution of this storm. Look at this. Yeah, this is what we could be looking at here. And I'm going to unfold both on the GFS and the European model here momentarily. What is going to play out to give us this? Look at this. Anywhere in the purple, you stand a chance to see 6 inches or more here, pretty much north of this line. So it's places like, Rochester, Binghamton, Buffalo, over towards, look at Albany, Boston, Syracuse. You are solidly in the 12 to 18-inch range here. This is crazy. And look at this. This is getting warning criteria down into southern New England. Now, New York City, I know, you're teetering right on 1 inch, and I know you've seen nothing this winter. Sorry to say this might just slide to your north, but look at this. This is a pretty big area here. All right, so taking a look at the GFS here, what is the GFS showing? Well, the GFS is going crazy, especially in the higher elevations of the southern Adirondacks here, southern Vermont. This is crazy, but you know what? The pattern is here. It practically is in the same exact location here as the European model. So there is some extremely good agreement here, this far out, which is excellent to see because we don't normally see this sort of thing. Look at that. Into the red zones, the maroon zones, you're essentially into the 12-inch plus. In the purple zones, you're into warning criteria. All the way down into southern New England, there it is, New York City, getting missed again. And we'll take a look at one more here, the Canadian model. Pretty much the same idea here. You can see, yeah, we're pretty much getting into that, warning criteria anywhere in the purple zones and the red zones. Some of this up north is from the previous storm, but take a look at that. You get the idea here. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS here. I know you're probably groaning, but you know what? It's actually agreeing pretty well with the Euro. This is that piece of energy that could give us that big Northeast snowstorm. Here it is across the California. This is going to be Friday into Saturday. Now, watch how the evolution of this plays out. So this spins into the desert Southwest, gives California and coastal areas, even snow all the way down to coastal areas in Northern California. Look how that see that energy, how it skips across Colorado here. This is Sunday at 7 p.m. The big old energy is right here. Watch what happens with this energy here initially. Yes, it's going to spin off this Colorado low, but who would have guessed that we could be looking at some potential secondary low development up here. Now take a look. The first low comes up here, and I'll show you this momentarily on the European model. So you have the first low up here. The secondary low starts to reform here. Take a look at this. So this is Monday at 7 p.m. along the I-81 corridor on northeastward. This is where things are going to get extremely interesting. This is why I want you to stay tuned. Things are going to get really unfolded quite nicely potentially here. This might actually be our shot for some decent accumulating snows in this region right here. So watch this unfold here as we head throughout the night into Tuesday morning, 1 a.m. Look at this. Yeah. We're starting to see some real heavy snow up here into parts of New England. Initially here across northeast Pennsylvania, central New York. See how the warm air initially with this first low pressure system, it's trying to erode the snow. But watch what happens once the secondary low really starts to crank up here. We're going to start to see that cold air Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Look at that I-81 corridor on eastward, and look at how this starts to really fill in. Boston, you're into the white here, into Syracuse and Binghamton. This is where you're going to start to get some snowfall rates here. There's the Hudson Valley, Boston, maybe 1 to 2 inches an hour. And look at this. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Many of you have been waiting for a potential storm like this. Look at this, is 4 p.m. Tuesday. So you're still dealing with snowfall here in the Binghamton corridor up through Syracuse, Boston area, Albany. And look at this. The GFS is a little quicker with moving the system out. It's still bringing snowfall to the Hudson Valley, Eastern Catskills on eastward here. So look at this. As this unfolds, GFS is a little bit more progressive and ends this 4 a.m. Wednesday. Now, let's take a look at the European model. All right, so let's take a look at the European model here as we go in time. You know, the big interesting thing is here, as I showed you on the GFS, is our big system out here on the West Coast. This is our key to getting this storm cranking up here, up towards the Midwest, and then getting that secondary development. Now, look, we got a cold high building into the Northeast here. Let's take a look. I'll show you this. You know, if you're interested in the next 24 to 48 hours, I'll show you momentarily a couple minutes from now on the HRRR model. But let's go further out here. There we go. So as we get throughout the weekend, there's Sunday. There's our cold high setting up here across eastern Canada. That is good. That's what you want. One of the ingredients for the snowstorm. There's the energy. And watch this. Watch how it blossoms across the plains. It's really going to start to show itself. Look at this big old line of snow here. Snow squalls across Albuquerque, New Mexico, up into southwestern Colorado here for your Sunday. And watch how this plays out. You start to have explosive thunderstorm development. We are going to have a severe weather outbreak here across the southern plains. This is going to be mainly Sunday night. Watch this. Look at that. That's a big, pretty decent squall line here. Definitely going to have some nocturnal tornadoes here Sunday night into early Monday morning. There's a system exiting in the Northeast with a little, moisture-starved system. But the big story at this point is going to be this big old low here across the central states. And that's going to bring some thunderstorms. Now, look at the Gulf Coast. I think you're going to be pretty safe here as the energy slides to your north here. Look at 972 millibars. We start to get the system more cranking towards a more wintry side here towards the north. Here's our another reinforcing high pressure system to the north. Now watch as we get into Monday here. Look at this. I'll be zooming in here onto the northeast momentarily. Look at this. This is some heavy snow breaking out across parts of upstate New York, northeast Pennsylvania, parts of southern New England. This is by Monday evening. Heading on into Monday night into early Tuesday morning. Look at the secondary low. So you have this 986 millibar low, and then a secondary low tries to form. Now, initially, it's going to be difficult because we're going to have some warm air blasting into Pennsylvania here in eastern Ohio. So you're probably not going to see any major accumulations here across those areas. But watch as the primary low takes over here, and I'll be zooming in to show you momentarily. 988 millibars, 987 millibars. Look at this. This is like a dual barrel extreme nice situation here. 988 millibars, double barrel low here. And you know, between these low pressure systems, the way they interact, you will get some enhanced snowfall banding across parts of the Northeast and New England. And the Euro kind of stalls this out for a bit. Look at how the prolonged event, this is Tuesday, early evening. Look at this. We're still snowing across eastern New York, parts of New England, and upstate New York as well. we never really truly make it here into parts of northern Maine. Look at that. But we kind of focus the snow onto New England. Even southern New England gets in on the act here. And we don't start to pull this away until Wednesday, late Wednesday into early Thursday. All right, so let's zoom in here to the Northeast. This could blow us out into warning criteria. So this is Monday night. So let's take a look here. This is where things start to get interesting. There's the secondary low development. The other low is right off your screen here. But watch this. See what's going on here? We have this 986 millibar low across Michigan. We have warm air trying to push in. So unfortunately for you in southern, central, western Pennsylvania, it doesn't look good for snow. But this area right here, this is could be advisory into warning criteria. Gets really interesting. Look at the secondary low development, 988 millibars, 987. So what you have here is the potential for some significant banding of the snow, especially by this point, Tuesday late morning into New England here, and then more banding of snow starts throughout the day across central upstate New York and the Hudson Valley, Catskills, and Poconos. So look at how long drawn out. It's not too terribly heavy, but I mean, look at the stretch of time here. This is Tuesday, late afternoon, early evening. We're still dealing with snow. And then look at banding starts to set up here. As these two low-pressure systems interact, you're going to get banding go on between these two low-pressure systems. And that's what's going to enhance the snowfall as we head throughout the night, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. Take a look at this. You're still dealing with banding of snow even out into eastern Long Island and to parts of Cape Cod. And that doesn't start to move out. Let's get to the next screen there. There we go. So until later on in the day, Wednesday evening. All right, so as we take a look at the view nationally here, North America temperatures. Now take a look there Friday. Look at that. Friday morning, you're crashing these temperatures up here to the Northeast. So you're starting in the 30s and 40s, and look how quickly this moves to the Southeast here. We got this big, old, massive pool of polar and Arctic air here, and that's going to be an intrusion. So we had that throughout the day Friday. We don't warm up too much into the Northeast, 20s and 30s, but look at that. Overnight lows Saturday night, we're going to go below zero here in northern New England, and look at this. Teens and 20s here across the Northeast. Look at the northern plains, teens below zero. Now watch what happens here. We do warm it up a bit throughout the day Saturday, but the Northeast stays pretty cold, and this is what could set us up here Sunday. We do warm up things as we get this big old ridge starting to firecracker us across the east, and the low pressure starts to form out here into parts of the plains. Now look at this as we head into Monday. Yeah, we're going to see a pretty warm day relatively here, but we start to get precipitation here across the Northeast. Look at the temperatures start to cool down as we head throughout the afternoon. That means this low pressure system that's going to become a dual or double barrel low, if you want to call it that, is going to start manufacturing its own cold air despite this massive blast of furnace to your south here. Now look at that. So we head throughout Monday into Tuesday morning. Look at that across the Northeast. It's actually stalling this cold air here, camping this cold air out as we have this cold high pressure system up here into eastern Canada. That's going to keep the cold flow moving here all the way to the Susquehanna River Valley of New York and northeast Pennsylvania eastward. That could give us our big snowstorm for the Northeast and parts of New England here. So we head into Wednesday. There we go. Temperatures crashing behind that area of low pressure. And look at that. Thursday morning going very cold across parts of the Northeast before we get that next system that starts to bring up some warm air for Friday the 3rd. Look at this. Yeah, so all that snow that you got potentially across the Northeast starts to melt. I know. It's hard to keep a good snowpack going, especially this winter. But look at that. Saturday morning up to 57 in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, 65 in Washington, D.C., and look at that. Yeah, the Firecracker Ridge stays potent here across the east. All right, so let's take a look at the upper air anomalies here. This will get us a good idea. Look at that Firecracker Ridge out east here. That's just crazy. There's that western low pressure system as we head throughout the weekend here. But watch next week here. Sunday, the 26th. Look what's going on here. Canada, in particular, is very trophy here with the U.S. West Coast. And watch what happens here. We have pieces of energy kind of break off here, and it's really weird because look at this. Monday, we got this ridge, but look what's punching into this ridge. There is our wild card. That's our key. That's that big piece of energy over the weekend across Southern California. That is the interesting thing on how this interacts. We'll have more information throughout the weekend to see how this actually interacts across the east. But look at that. That's enough to push into the northeast for Tuesday. There's Tuesday morning to actually get some snow going here across parts of the northeast. This is probably the most interesting thing I've seen in most of the winter. So this may actually give us areas into the normalized snowfall range if this actually pans out the way it looks like it actually is. So this is actually pretty exciting news here for the Northeast. All right, so let's take a look at total quantitative precipitation amounts through the weekend here. Yeah, we got some here across the Northeast. That's mostly with that system moving through and blasting some cold air. But look at down here across the Southeast. We'll have that next system starting to set up. Some of that will be from the Saturday and Sunday as well. But look at this. Southern California, this is the big story. This is where we're going to see. Now, let's just go out through next week here. Look at this. So, yeah, this takes us through Sunday, March 5th. If you just break these numbers down, the trends we have here, look, the West Coast is just inundated here. Whether you're inundated with rain or snow, 3.5 upwards of 6, 7, 8 inches of liquid equivalent, especially in the mountains there. Look at here across the east. You can stretch from northeast Texas all the way up to western New York, western Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio. This is a crazy amount of precipitation. And a lot of this will end up being liquid, but we have the big wild card here into the northeast. Let's just back this up a little bit. So there we go. There's the liquid equivalent here across the northeast through middle of next week. You get into those totals an inch and a half. So we might have some low-end warning criteria snow here. All right, so let's take a look at our HRRR future radar. Essentially, yeah, you got that big old West Coast low. And waiting off the coastline here, that's going to pretty much start to plow inland here. Let's put this into motion and see if we got any major weather systems heading our way in the short term. This is going to take us through the next 24 to 48 hours. You can see, look at that pinwheeling going right down the California coast here. That's going to bring those snow levels down to almost the coastal areas. That's crazy to even think about. You see up here in the northeast, yep, we're dealing with that departing low pressure. And yeah, temperatures are going to be getting cold. You can see that big old Arctic front overnight. By 7 a.m., look at that, the Arctic front blasting through. Your temperatures are going to start in the 30s, and they're going to plummet throughout the day. Look at this. Yeah, those lake effect streamers kind of set up here on the northwest flow, and look at our big old low out here blasting off towards Nova Scotia. We go down south here, we got some showers and a few thunderstorms. We do have some sleet and freezing rain here northwest of Oklahoma City. Definitely watch out for that. But the big story is going to be this blasting low out west here. Take a look at this. This thing's going to be blasting inward. Look at that. Wow, that's going to be snow up there in the 5 to 10 feet range. And look at that. Damaging winds, mudslides, torrential rains at the lowest elevations into your Saturday, 1 a.m. Now take a look. This next low pressure system as we go throughout the weekend, yeah, you're going to get some icing here towards the panhandle of Texas, so things are going to be cooling down a little bit. But look at here into parts of the Appalachians by 11 a.m. Saturday. Yeah, you're going to be breaking out towards Roanoke, eastern parts of Tennessee. You might actually get some snow, sleet, and freezing rain initially out of this as some cold pool of air here at the surface. There's that low out west here. And here we go, this past Wednesday, John from the Columbus Avenue near Museum of Natural History, New York City. Take a look at that. Nice shot there, John, taking a look at what looks like a pretty decent day across the area. So nice capture there, getting out and enjoying it there in the natural history of New York City. All right, so all my viewers here in the Atlantic Tropical Basin from the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, Latin and Central America, how you all doing? You're probably loving it right now. Making all of us jealous up there on the North American continent. Look at that. You get a few showers from time to time, but you know what? It's beautiful. Get out there and enjoy. All right, Western Pacific, we had this big old system over here towards Madagascar. You can see that's moving towards Africa at this point. Look at that. Yeah, that caused a lot of problems here. But it's going to regain some strength here, and look at that blast off towards Southeast Africa. But we head over here to the Western Pacific. Look what's going on here. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. That's great news, because look at this. We do get a few showers moving through the central Philippines towards Sunday the 26th here. But look at that. The rest of next week until about Thursday, March 2nd. Take a look. We start to have the intertropical convergence zone kind of spin up a low pressure system here across the central and southern Philippines. So you'll start to get some heavy rains, maybe on the order of 50 to 75 millimeters. But that quickly washes out to be replaced with a new one. You see what the pattern here, the trend is to get this, this monsoon pattern kind of kicking in here. And that's going to only get worse as we head towards March and April here, towards, the start. I mean, typhoon season never really truly ends, but, it just... Enjoy this, because things aren't going to be so good in a couple months. But look at this, yeah. By the 9th of March, you're pretty well dry. You do got some scattered showers, but, there's nothing to really write home about here. That's great news. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this. Friday, windy conditions. Yeah, scattered snow showers. Yeah, you read that right. 31 for a low, and highs crashing through the lower 20s by 5 p.m. Look at that. Into Saturday, we kind of get away the wind. But look at that, scattered snow showers up towards 32. Sunday, 48 is a warm front blast through, maybe a couple of rain showers. Monday, we will have that rain out ahead of that front, so it'll start out as rain, 41 degrees, but temperatures will fall. And look at that, Monday night into Tuesday, we may see 4 to 8 inches of snow across the Binghamton and Scranton area. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern and Weather Eastern. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, at Susquehanna Weather for my local page. And guess what? MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com is Twitter, at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, question or comment down below. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, share the video, and thanks for joining.